So it was super magical. And now, again, Koh Phangan style magic is happening, and things are just falling together, I think, as they always have and do fall together. And now we're just going to see how this is going to evolve and what beautiful messages we can bring out there.
Thank you very much. I would like to start with you. It's your last day here, right? And just last hours. Okay, 1.5 hour. Maybe you can talk about how you feel to start with this or what's happened here, and then we will do the transition with a deeper subject.
Yeah, so my last 1.5 hours of an island, which is, in my opinion, very unique on this planet. It's not comparable to Bali or any other place where people with open mindset, no religious, conscious, mindfulness, spiritual, however you want to call it, come together and create a community space. And here you have it on a very big scale because the whole island is quite like that, and all people from around the world coming. And the thing is for me that I'm experienced the island in having a special vortex. And this specialty about it is not only because it's the rose crystal, which gives the love opportunity to the people, which gives the reunion opportunity, the reconnection opportunity with divinity, with love, with the masculine, feminine principle, and so forth. The thing is that you have here an acceleration power, which I never met in my life before. And a lot of people struggling with this because the time of integration is for a lot of people not that easy because everything goes very quick. So we have this spiral dynamic basically in our life that we always move spirally upwards or downwards. And why the spiral is we are meeting every time everything again and again and again, what we call loop. So basically, you're looping your topics over and over and from different perspectives, which goes like a feedback to all that is through the overall synthesize of all that is and feedbacking back to you, and it's a feedback loop as well. And this speed here was quite impactful to me because I'm a very speedy person. My understanding and embodiment speed rate is very high, and it kind of melted together and collapsed and collided together with the speed race of this island. And I had a quite wow time here, and I understood that the island is not my place to be. And I don't mean it in a negative way. It's just, it's good to be here for a time, but to live, it's nothing for me. Nevertheless, I'm extremely grateful to have this experience and to meet such a place like this is here. So, yeah, it's an amazing place. And with a little set eye, I'm looking on it, on the change which appears here with more and more people coming here, which like because they are refugees from war, like Israel or wherever. But it gives them too much movement to the island, and I think that it will even increase this not integrational principle or possibility because the movement is just rising and the parties are rising, and more and more people, more and more construction work, more and more house building. And right now we have low season, and this low season is higher than the little high season we had in summer. So yeah, quite busy here.
We were talking about this with Leo yesterday, how places can be very attracted because a lot of energy are here. Like first from conscious perspective, so a lot of, let's say, conscious people are coming, experimenting a very high level of living, and then this attracts other kind of people, maybe more capitalistic part also, and more, and so that changed the vibe also. For example, maybe that's what happened in Bali. First it was more like conscious people, and then now it's like Disneyland capitalist world, and that's it's happening now. So now we feel, we were talking about this also, we can feel both worlds still, because still conscious people are here, but also like new business people are here. Do you think like this kind of places are changing around, or can we follow the flow of what we need, or we are doing it anyway?
So, in the end, I think that these places will not be centralized, needed anymore in the future. So, and this is why the mind change is happening all over the world. And we have already these centers of consciousness. Goa was, still is, Bali was, still is, Koh Phangan was, still is, and the impact on the amount of people was already on the pivot point. So we are already over the pivot point, and what we are already bringing to humanity has its impact already. So it won't be that necessary that we have to be the keeper of centers, because we are already like this net. We built the grid already, and we have the technical possibility, like we do right now, connecting each other wherever we are, and do podcast and spreading our thoughts and our energies, which go through the digital realm, holographically still. Even if we don't meet in person, it's still happening. So the necessity is not there anymore. So it happens in the outer world, whatever happens, and the impact we have and we do will happen as well, and it's not stoppable.
It's better if it's not stoppable, because it's a very good wave we are feeling now. Maybe we can focus a little bit on the subject we was talking about, because it's a good transition, I think, what we call 3D and 4D world. For now, maybe like Sophia, you want to?
Yes, I think that's a very interesting topic. I felt it was also really nice that we talked a little bit about Koh Phangan. Maybe if I can share a bit more to this, because it felt like quite magical now that this was happening, because it's our last day, and I feel this island, and as so many energetical places, they have like this power of acceleration and this power of change, and it's like a circular movement of, so we're coming here and then they help us to ascend or wake up and get clarity about certain things. So I feel now I want to talk about that energy exchange that we're always really aware of when it's with people, or not always, but we try to be aware of energy exchange when it's about people, money and services. We're not so aware sometimes about the exchange or the gratefulness for unmoved places, let's say, like an island or a tree or the earth. So the earth is a infinite and absolute loving, unconditional loving giver that will always give us no matter what we do. But it's still beautiful to sometimes like give our tribute. So I feel like really, for me, it's really important to, and yes, I feel I really want to talk about this, because that's a message that I always try to bring out there, is like giving tribute to places, to the guardians, energetic guardians of a place, to the earth, and like saying thank you in a day like today, for example, that we've been here such a long time now, almost like a half year in Koh Phangan, over half year in Koh Phangan. For me, it was only 10 days, but It feels like 3 months already, and I've learned so much. And everybody, I think, that comes here learns so much. And then doing something in regards to that, like giving, for example, a little offering, giving a thank you, doing a little ceremony before moving on, because everything should be kind of a ceremony. Everything should be made with awareness. So we have to put awareness on what this island gave to us, and then say thank you, say goodbye, maybe give something in return. It doesn't have to be something super valuable. It just means, like, it just has to be energetically valuable for us. It can be stone or just a gesture, but like this awareness of that every place has its energy, and also these energies, they must be appreciated and loved as well, because they deserve that. And karma flows are, and energy exchanges are working much better if we are aware of that. Like asking, for example, for permission when we come somewhere, saying thank you before we leave. And I think this will actually really help this island to survive these changes that it's going through now. Because really today I've been doing quite around this island, doing some last errands before leaving, and I saw so much construction going on, so many trees being like cut, and so much earth like opened. And I know that Mother Earth, she will survive that and she will recover. But still, it's a big thing, and it's nice to support her, and it's nice if we conscious people can support her as well. If we have like our personal pyramid, if you look at that, like being the basics ourselves, and then later the service, later the family and friends, and then later the service. So if we have like our base level kind of full and we feel fine, then maybe also not only to our friends, but also to Mother Earth and to important places, giving like some tributes, giving our offerings, giving our love, so that this island and other beautiful energetic places can go through this transition, can keep their magicness and their energy while commercialization is coming, while taking resources and all this is happening. So like giving this like loving energy to the island, giving our tributes, giving our thank you, I think could really help her. Could help any place in the world. And then talking to the guardians of this place here, because every place in the world has guardians. So what we try to do in Mexico, what I learned there, what I really love, it's one of my favorite things about this land and country. When people ask me why I live there, it's this like awareness of the magic and power of Mother Earth. It's like Latin America is so connected to Mother Earth, and before you go somewhere, you ask for permission to the guardians of the land. And then you explain what you want to do there if you want to do a ceremony, and you talk to the elements and you tell them what you want to do. So you include not only the people around you, but you include all the energies around you and the place into what you're doing. And so you ask for permission, and then you're already more accepted. So if you go somewhere and you feel like a lot of mosquitoes are biting you, and then you hit on a root or on a stone and you hurt yourself, then this is maybe the land telling you, hey, you didn't ask for permission. I don't know what you're doing here. I'm trying to protect myself. So then take a moment, talk to the land and present yourself, talk about your intention, and ask to be there. And yeah, I believe that this could help a lot to the island to go through all this transition in the most positive way, and so that energies here can stay like in this upwards going spiral. Because if you have like a lot of abuse going on, a lot of big party and drugs and that, we have like a lot of downwards spiral energy as well going on. So we need to put more awareness also to put into this upwards going spiral and giving positive energy to this place. So if you go, for example, and see somewhere trash, or like a dirty river, like here, for example, the river is sometimes dirty and people take like the water from it. Don't come like and say, oh, it looks so ugly and oof, and people are using it so badly. No, come with compassion. Come with compassion, talk to the river, give it the love that it deserves, tell it that it's beautiful and that it's divine and that it's still as powerful as it always been. So give it the love that it deserves to help raise its energy again. And it's not only about doing this with people and with yourself, but also with the earth. So that's my message and my loving goodbye to Koh Phangan. Thank you so much for everything, to this beautiful magical island. I hope you transform so many more people, and in such a beautiful way as you did with me and with so many people that I know. Thank you for this magic, Koh Phangan. Thank you for all this magic that you give and gave and will give to so many people in this world. So, yeah.
I have to say something interesting to that. Why it is that everything has, or why everything is alive, why to contribute to an element or a place where you are to ask for permission. Why that? We always speak about oneness, and oneness doesn't mean only that we are human or human and animal are one. Everything what exists is one, because everything is from the same matter. And better to speak, because nothing is from matter. Matter doesn't exist. Everything is from the same particle, which we can observe, called a quantum particle, but behind that it's just energy and frequency, and or light. And everything is made by the same substance. It has just its own frequency vibration that we can then say, okay, this is a table, this is a microphone, this is a hair. But in the end, everything is from the same substance. And the funny thing about it is that everything what exists has self-consciousness, self-awareness. So, for example, this thing here, it has self-awareness. It knows it exists. I mean, we cannot speak. It will not respond and tell you, I know that I'm this piece of metal, but it has this self-awareness. And of course, we have much more, because we are much more than this piece of metal. But everything has its self-awareness, or its awareness of existence. And this is why it makes sense to contribute or to get in contact, ask for permission. This is why it makes reason. It's not just a cultural thing which comes from an ancient civilization. It's not just a thought. It's nothing what is a new age perspective. It's because everything is really truly one, because it's from the same substance. And this is why communication is possible. And this is why, and you have there a lot of scientific history in this topic, that you can measure the energy of a chair, for example, where like 10 years somebody were sitting in, and then this person died. And you have technical devices where you can measure and make it even visible that this person still sits there. Yeah. So energy never disappear. It's not possible. You can change, but information and energy never disappear. It always remains where it is. And when you lived in a house, your frequency, your energy is in the walls. This is why it's not easy for us humans to sleep in a hotel. At least for a lot of people, it's not that easy, because if you add a person with negative energy or vibration or whatever, or not matching to yours, like in the last house, we were like intermediate right now for these 3 nights. I'm sleeping in a bed. I had every night really, really bad horror dreams. And I know it comes from the bed because I feel it directly. Yeah. So to get in contact and to clean and to try to switch something is workable. It's doable. Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing this. I want to ask question, but I want also you to participate. So maybe you have something to share with us about. So it was more about the when you're sleeping in this bed. Um, if that impact you or you feel it, you can choose to not feel it. No, you can choose to say, okay, this is not mine directly, and I don't want to deal with that. So it will let you in peace.
Super interesting. And this is super, super interesting, because this leads directly actually to that topic where we want to go, ascension and dimension, like 4 dimension, 5th dimension. The direct answer to your question, yes and no, because while I'm sleeping, I'm leaving the realm where I am when I'm not sleeping, where I'm awake. And what basically happens when we sleep, we enter the 4th dimension. Other dimensions, of course, as well, but most of the time, or not most, we are pretty much connected to the 4th realm, the 4th dimension, and this dimension is a parallel dimension to our awake realm, where we see each other now. You can say it's the realm of the deaf people, which did not ascend because they have grief, because they didn't let go. And the ether dimension. And in this dimension you have, I mean, I cannot prove everything what I'm saying is just a story, what other people observed or entered, or what my observation and my entering is, but it's about that there are the realms of the afterlife people which didn't ascend, the realm of certain negative energies, demons, when you want to use these words, and influences. So, and when I go into the sleep state, I'm very much connected in and into this realm, and I'm then already connected. So it's not that I can choose not to be connected because I'm in a sleep state. And this is why I think that we don't enter the 4th dimension. This is not the paradigm switch we do. The paradigm switch is the 5th dimension. We're not going to enter the 4th. You have a lot of people who has their perspectives what dimensions are, and that we live in a 3D and blah blah blah. So you have to understand that we have the mathematical and physic understanding upon that, and we have the metaphoric vibrational energetical perspective upon that. And from the scientific perspective, actually we are living in a 2D perspective, because 3D is even something different. And I had the beautiful allowingness to enter one time in my life to see what really is 3D. I can tell it very, very briefly. So when we look to the top, to the roof now, we see it actually flat. So we see it more 2D, and everything has their, like, I don't even know right now in English how to explain it. They have their, no, it's, so the roof is not like this, it goes down as well. It has the real 3D of this part, it goes down as well. So when you, I pity that my English right now doesn't allow to explain it proper. Okay, I tried like this. When you draw, when you, yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I don't remember the word. When you draw, hmm so when you draw a cube, you see it flat, like I see the roof now flat, but when you put it in a real 3D perspective, you see that it has much more, yeah, sorry. It actually is a beautiful story, but I cannot really explain it. Yeah, so get back to the dimensional thing, and the 4th dimension, what everybody is speaking about, is an intermediate realm, is not a realm where what we enter.
If you want to explain in other language, then I can translate.
Mm. or transmit about the dimension. No, actually, it has really much to do with the vibration and frequency. So the vibration and frequency of the 4D is the copy of our world, just with the non-visible. Yeah, and the 5D is the real new vibrational realm where we are changing or heading to. Yeah.
Wow. How can we follow after this? You, you feel you can add something? Ah, you're here to bring, you already bring a special energy, so we just.
I don't want to speak from my mind. So if you feel flowy, so you can speak flowy, because I don't want to speak from mind. Yeah.
Perfect.
So there are like 2 points that I wanted to say. Now I just remembered there was a first one as well when we were talking about the sleeping state and entering into this like receptiveness. I remembered a thing that really helps me. It doesn't have to be personal for you right now. I just mean like generally, like if you end up being in a hotel or at home not feeling safe because you feel like energy is present. There's like what really helped me. I mean, besides of the part of like kind of accepting that darkness and light is everything valuable and nothing is wrong or right and everything is okay and there's nothing really bad out there, but still if you just don't feel like safe or if you feel something is like taking too much energy from you or whatever, it can really help to invoke like positive energies like Archangel Michael, who is the angel of protection, is an energy that you can invoke. I mean, you don't have to take it like from, like as it said in the Bible or anything. I know that like the Christianity and Catholicism and Bible is like really influencing our feeling towards, or at least it did for a long time, influence my feeling towards Christ, towards archangels and all those things. But there's really like an energy or a light that comes supposedly from, talking about dimensions again, from the 8th dimension, and they're like the closest one to the source God's dimension, and they're like kind of the arms of God, let's say, that are moving things here and everywhere. So one of them is the arm that we could call Archangel Michael. And if you feel like you're unsafe, you can actually really talk to him or to them and ask for help. And I did this a lot of times already, and I felt directly safe, and everything would go away. It's like this safety bubble that we did before, but sometimes we don't have the energy to give us enough light ourselves, and then we can just ask for this help. We can ask our guides, we can ask the angels, but we can also directly go and ask Archangel Michael. And I actually did this a few times in ceremony. So I think like that's a whole different topic, but sometimes ceremony, like ayahuasca ceremonies, can be very dangerous if people are holding them who are not actually real like space holders, not capable of being like space holders, not understanding to create a safe space when doing a ceremony as powerful as ayahuasca, for example, which creates big portals. And so they invite all kind of energies in, and if the space holder doesn't know how to protect that circle, it can be a bit dangerous. And I never really felt super safe in any of the ceremonies that I did, but they were all super beautiful. So what I would do in the beginning when I would feel this mistrust with the space holder, or just like this not complete like power long enough on that path to hold that space, I would just talk to Archangel Michael and to all the guides and angels of all the people participating in my own, and then ask them to come, and I would literally feel and see how they create the safety bubble around us and safety happening then. And one time it was even that intense that I would feel like all this and see all the darkness coming, and then from the jungle around us, and then I would talk to them, and they would come and protect us. So you can do this in a hotel when you feel unsafe, on the streets when you feel unsafe, when you end up in a ceremony where you don't feel safe, or end up in a black hole, in depression, whatever. You can always like really ask for help, and there's much more help than just from physical human beings. Returning to the dimensional thing, I don't know, or maybe you feel like you want to say something to that.
I
Yes.
So what you said, yes. Um, I'm fully with you, and still I would like to add something what is in my perspective and as an information giver and teacher and everything, and based on my work and my understanding, I always try to encourage people for their self-empowerment and to stay as clear as possible, to connect less to conditioned, known, named entities. I have no idea what an angel is. I just have no idea, and nobody in the end has. And there are a lot of different perspectives which are different to the the power of security or whatsoever. And when I speak, when I say that there are negative perspectives, I have fully not a devaluating perspective on that, or a fearful or degrading one. They are serving same like the positive frequency band. We have the negative frequency band and we have the positive one, and they are having the same value. So what is about what I want to say is, if you don't feel the power, or the you don't know how to guide yourself to clean the space or be without fear, when you can connect to powers, to entities who are fully beneficial. Yeah? So no names, nothing. I connect to the most lightful, beneficial, me serving and surrounding entities and guardians and guidances which are surrounding me. And please help me. I have right now this situation. This is my suggestion. And for self-empowerment and learning, is really good to try to do it yourself, because we are multidimensional, and our mastery, our master who is guiding us, higher self, however you want to name it again, is so powerful that has actually not that much difference to a god or whatever, because we are gods and goddesses. It's just a projection that we are something lower, and it's a good teaching for ourselves, just to set the intention from a shortly, very briefly, shortly set up point in the heart, that I go into the feeling of this, I am everything. And my intention is that this place is now safe and clear for me, and I'm untouchable. It's just a second. It really takes a second. And you can learn with that to trust and have the experience that the energy changing, and that you get this crizzling on your body, that it changed the frequency from this low vibration to a more neutral or even to a higher one. And yeah, this is a really, really, really good training, just to center for a tiny moment with your heart, alignment, and set up the intention. I am so much more. I am the God. I am the multidimensional being, and I am safe. Because the only thing what can really touch us is the thought that we can be touched. So it's self-created touch. Yeah. So in the end, my story with the bed, that I feel their negative vibrations, which caused horror dreams, means that I am open right now for certain frequencies, for certain horror moments, for intensity of the negative frequency band, and it's fully okay. But it doesn't mean more. It doesn't mean that I'm not untouchable. It's just my own thought, my own belief, which gives the possibility that something from the fourth dimension or from wherever can harm or can do something to me. It's only their own allowingness. And without that, it's not possible.
You want to add something directly? Or? You say something? Okay, I say something. What something do you want to talk about now? Yeah. 3D, 4D. The yeah, the way I'm communicate with certain person, uh, someone is connected or not, like us. Because everybody is connected because that's what we are. But in some point on life, we can be not aware that we are more than simple humans with our social identity. Um, and sometimes with some people we are talking like in Harry Potter, there are like the sorcier and moldu. I don't know how to say it. Mogul. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The magicians and the humans. And how do you see, from which perspective are you seeing this kind of duality in the people you meet?
In my understanding is that everything what you can think already exists. So when you can think of it, it exists already. And that means that there is no yes and no, there is no wrong or right. There is everything exists in the here and now. That means that when we think that the earth is round, you will have people with the perception that the earth is round, and you will have the scientific proof that the earth is round. When you have people who think that the earth is flat, you will have believers, and you have definitely the scientific proof that the earth is flat. So wherever you want to go with your belief system, which is conditioned or which has built up and set up, it will give you the experience and the proof of that. There is a beautiful sentence: whatever the thinker think, will the prover prove. Yeah, I don't know if it's so clear to understand. I will repeat it: whatever the thinker thinks, the prover will prove. And this dynamic shows that everything is created by our consciousness, and that paradoxy is the most normal, common physic order in all universes which are exist. There is no or, never. There is never an or. Never exist. An or did not exist. It's always this and that and that and this. And yeah. So everything exists. In that moment, you said it. No, there is nothing. There is no not existence. This is the other very interesting truth. There is no nothingness. It's just not exist per se. Because nothing is already something. Yeah, when you say a word, when you have a word for that, it exists. So if you say nothing, nothing is already something. Yeah, so there is no not true, because every perspective is the perspective you have, and it's true for you. And this is why in the last years it becomes more unnecessary to discuss what really happened in what situation. Was the car green? Was the car red? It's not only the brain which has a different perception on moments. It's just that we are entering so rapidly, more than ever before, switching timelines. While we are even sitting here together, we're switching constantly timelines and have different perspectives on things. And we have this thing called Mandela effect. I think most people know it, meanwhile. And when you are speaking with somebody and says, oh, you remember 5 years ago we went to there, and this person say, listen, I was never there. I was never there. So don't even try to have a discussion and a fight about it. It's definitely like this, that this person entered so much a different timeline cluster, that with his timeline cluster he entered now, he was never at this place, what you mentioned. Yeah. Very interesting topic, actually.
Yeah, it is, and it's very nice that you mentioned the thing about the truth, and because that's exactly what I thought of, like giving this emphasis on there is no such thing as a certain truth. That's something that we already learned in school, basically. When you talk about the hearer, the listener, and then the actual, like, and the observer, and that everybody of them receives a completely different reality or completely different situation. So it doesn't make sense to be like discussing about little things and worrying about it, or even fight about it, because in the end, all of what you perceive, all of what you believe is true. All of what the other person perceives and believes is also true. So there's no, you cannot prove the other person wrong. It's just like about letting go of this like belief system and this wanting to be right, the other person wanting to be wrong, you wanting the other person to be wrong. And it's just really about letting this whole thing behind, and that's what we also need to get into a higher consciousness, is letting go of thought patterns like this, like I was right, he was wrong, I was wrong and he was right. And I mean, it doesn't mean that it's not a good thing to sometimes say sorry or something if you feel like you also feel like you've been, for example, emotionally kind of abusive or something to somebody, or whatever. That's not what I'm saying, but just like about like little things like, hey, did we had this lemonade or the other one, and then discussing about it or whatever, just like letting go of that, because in the end, all of this is really true. Because when, as you said, when somebody can believe something, then obviously the great consciousness, like as you are part of the great consciousness, can also think about it. And if the great consciousness thinks about it, then it exists. So automatically everything that I believe does exist and is possible somewhere, which is sometimes a creepy thought when we think about horror movies. But somewhere everything kind of exists. And then talking about this like truth is, and you wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to add what the most beneficial thing on this perspective is. It relaxes your life, it relaxes your body drastically. If you stop to argue about these tiny little things which are in our projective world, which we call life and matter, when you just allow yourself and allow the other person and the other people to have their experience and their perception upon moments and feelings which they create. If you just let them there where they appear in this person, it gives so much peace. You give so much peace and to yourself, to your surrounding, to humanity, to everything what exists, and holographically speaking to all that is, to everything what exists. And this is one of the really deep beneficial things to adapt and embody this thought, which we right now spoke about. It relaxes your system, it relaxes your nerve system, and this is what we really need, to have the most relaxed nerve system for this paradigm change. because as more struggle we have, as more we have this frequency chaotic thing going on, it's it's harder for us to adapt into this paradigm switch, into this frequency shift. Yeah, to relax and let go is the best advice.
I wanted to go into the frequency shift and the paradigms. Yeah, but yeah, you want to say that?
Actually, I was going to so we can maybe finish with this specification of what are the different timelines you are talking about, and yeah, we went the same. So perfect.
But you can, if you want, you can ask about paradigm and frequency shifts, like
To
not to me, and then
yeah, the subject is already here, I think.
Okay, so coming back to the words that you mentioned about paradigms and frequency shifts. In my case, I don't have like like exact informations about or clear truths, let's say, about the dimensions and what means what dimension, how exactly is ascension, because I believe that this doesn't really exist anyway. That like the biggest, I mean, that the truth doesn't really exist anyway. That kind of everything is possible, as we just talked about, and that there are like different perceptions, so there are different realities about how we are ascending, and where exactly we're going to, and where exactly we are right now. It's like, I think this is like a kind of translucid fact, not fact, let's say. What I believe is really true in that, though, what I want to share is that wherever we go to and wherever we are right now, we are shifting. So that's for sure. We are shifting, and that means that frequencies, I don't know if you ever heard about Schumann frequencies, are really like changing in the world right now. So things are accelerating really strong. Time is passing by so much faster, so much quicker. So things are really starting to get super intense. And this is because those frequencies are trying to push us into that next dimension, which is 4D or 5D, wherever, but it's trying to push us towards an higher frequency and higher consciousness, and it's already happening. Whatever we do, if we ascend, if we don't ascend, if we are conscious about it or not, it is happening. And now for us, it's really important to understand, for everybody of us, that that these intensities, we're not alone with them. We all share them, and that it's the life or the universe trying to push us more into our soul's purpose, because all of us are here for a reason. And breaking it down, the big reason is basically just being part of this ascension, helping to raise the frequency of the earth. Doesn't really matter in what way you do that. If you're a teacher, a podcaster, an artist, a yoga teacher, or a information healer, or whatever, a politic, it doesn't really matter what path you choose, but in the overall big picture, it is about rising the frequency, sharing unconditional love, sharing a rising awareness in the world. And so all of us who came here with that purpose, which we are quite a lot, probably everybody who's listening now, we need to start to do what we feel, like this urge, not the conditioned information that we get, that we need to do certain things, but the urge that we feel, we need to start to follow it. So if you feel like you struggle a lot right now, and things are getting really intense, and you really feel bad, and you maybe even have like physical, mental issues, start to get sick, it is because energies are shifting and trying to push us into a certain direction of following our purpose. So now it's super important to surrender and to go into that direction. Otherwise, the suffering is going to be much more intense. And so that's just like a idea that I want to give, like, you're not alone with that, and just try to follow what your soul or your heart is telling you where to go.
So what is exactly paradigm shift? Yeah, what is it, and what causes it? How this happens. Every thought we have has a certain frequency, and a negative thought belongs or creates a negative vibration and belongs to a negative vibration band. And when we have a positive thought, it creates a positive vibration. And we have always, because we live in a fractal and holographic existence between us and the universe. So everything what happens in me, what I feel, what I think, directly goes to everything what exists, because everything is a network. And it's not only that we are changing, we are shifting, all that is constantly shifting too. So, and this holographically goes to us, that we are always in an urge and in a push to shift to somewhere. We are shifting, and this gives already a feedback to all that is. So, in the Ascension, what people are talking about, or the paradigm shift, is that our thinking is changing. This is actually everything what happens, nothing more. Our thinking, our perspective on things is changing. So we entered a dark space 25,000 years, or whenever it was. You have different perspectives and information on that too, like on everything. We came into the dark age, and this dark age created patriarchy and ba 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 ba. So it created a fully different mindset into human. And everything what we think creates an emotion and energy and thought and feeling. Thought is information and feeling is energy. So information, energy, thought and feeling is creating reality. And this is created by our consciousness. So when we constantly have a negative mind and creating a negative feeling, which creates negative habits, which creates negative perspectives and negative beliefs, we create a negative reality. And we have a group of people who are doing this, a whole culture, a whole planet. We perceiving ourselves, we see ourselves in a very negative world. And we have this paradigm shift. Why? Because someone, and it happened drastically in the 60s, 70s with the hippies. They created this, and they could create because the universe or our solar system entered a new, an own new, yes, yeah, a new era. And this impact, of course, us. And that what was called the time of Aquarius. So it's an enlightenment era. And this you found then in the 70s, where the people began to smoke pot, take LSD, whatsoever, which have the people to open their perspective upon life, and that they don't want to have war, and how they want to live, and that the system can be right, that you have people with money, poor people, that everything is about work, and all these metrics. We are living and maintaining it with our belief system. And as more people, and this is what happens, stop to believe that we have to work from 9 to 5 or longer, that we need to have this, that we need that to survive, that the only goal is the outer world, that we want to have a car and a jet and billions of money. Still, you have these people, and this is why this life right now is so interesting. We have so parallel dimensions in our sleepy, awake life. We have the parallel is everywhere here around us, and but more and more people shifting their thoughts and shifting their feelings, and this create an impact on the physics and on our chemistry, on our DNA, and the DNA is changing. So I know that we're coming to an end with our podcast, but I right now just entered a fully new, many hours talk about what really is shifting and how it's shifting and how it changed our body and the chemistry and the DNA and the mitochondria. Mitochondria is a very interesting topic, by the way. Yeah, so this is basically the shift. The shift means our thoughts are changing.
So maybe it's time for you to open your own podcast and to share this kind of information if you think there are hours of how to talk about. And I know you have to go, so maybe in 5 minutes or whatever you want. I would like you to ask a question to your mother, like very simple question, like one sentence question. Actually, we didn't introduce your relationship, which is mother and daughter, and well, you to ask it and you to answer it, right?
Beautiful, nice. You ask me something, darling.
Oh, okay. What do I ask? Do you want to ask something? I ask. Yeah. Okay,
It's a challenge. Challenge.
How do you feel about the relationship that we have and that we just... Sometimes it feels like just the two of us, right? I mean, technically not. And then there's still like grandmama with us. But besides, it's kind of just the two of us, which is a small family, I think. Very small. So, 3 with Babulinka, but which is grandmother in Russian. So how do you feel about this?
I'm so grateful that I have just one. And your existence, with your mindset, with your spirituality, with your abilities, and with our connection and what we can enter through our merging energy, through our perspectives, through our talks, through our perceptions which are aligned, we have a very similar path. This is incredible. We have so many similarities, which causes, of course, from time to time, like last night, tension. And yeah, of course, there was this tension, and I could not even imagine that I would go so quickly through these tensions. I mean, it was so rapidly that in seconds, I went through the tension. And when you wrote me the text, don't close the door and I'm not going to sleep in the kitchen, and my phone was off, so I even didn't read this message. And of course, the door was open. And of course, yeah, so I was much more earlier ready to reconnect than you were, and it was fully okay. Yeah, when I came back the third time, I was very, very. But doesn't matter. Everything is fine, and I'm very, very grateful how fast we go through tension, because I think it's really a gift. It's an ability we have. And this ability and this gift we have is given by the superpower we have already, the superpower we grew already. And what I mean by the superpower is the spirituality, the embodiment of the spirituality, the mindset. Yeah. I think we're pretty cool.
I think so too.
Thank you so much, Damien.
Thank you.
It was fun. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, Damien.
Bisous, bisous.
Bisous, bisous, gros bisous.
Thank you so much, and we just saw Leo arriving now. I don't know if you meet him already. Ah, yeah. Of course. Amazing. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much for this podcast. Now, as you can see, we will continue it with other subjects with Leo, because now Sophia is living with her mother. And thank you very much for following all these topics and this podcast. And we will have a great journey, because we already started. Thank you very much to be here. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, and everything the algorithm like. And thank you very much.